What it is, everybody. Happy Friday. You made it to the end of the week, a very consequential one. Davos is over. It ended with a statement. It's good to be optimistic and wrong. It's better than to be like me and be correct about the end of the world. So here we are. We made it. Sorry I didn't set up my show early, so you didn't know to tune in, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm queer and I'm not going away. That's what they used to say. So I have the latest news. The news is that it's the end of the world, basically, finally, which we've been predicting for many years. We told you guys to buy silver back in 2016. It didn't do much for a long time, but now it's $103. And believe it or not, I sold mine. I had a catastrophic event happen in my life. Yeah, I had to sell silver, but I've been buying it back. So that's okay. And I've been buying gold too. So this is it. This is actually it. It's actually over. The fiat monetary experiment is ending, it looks like. Or at least that's the proposal that we're making on this show. So I'll show you the news. The end of the world order was announced at Davos by Mark Carney. Thanks, Sean. R.I.P. Doshi indeed. But we still have him in our intro, which we'll continue playing forever. We'll want to see what you guys have to say today. It's Friday. We could take phone calls if people want to call in. There is some indication that we might be going to war with Iran, which would make gold go up even more and make the stock market more likely to crash even more. We're right there, it seems like. It's impossible to predict the future. Kind of impossible to predict the future, but we can predict that fiat money will go to zero. That's been predictable since the beginning. It started 55 years ago. 55 years is about how long it lasted. And now we're actually turning metal back into money again, it seems like. And people are also talking about copper, and then there's platinum and palladium. All of them are pumping. Silver is insane. I would have never guessed. I would have thought, oh, it's got to take a break here and there. So $5,000 gold almost today. Silver crossed $100 and didn't even look back. Apparently it's at 103 now. I've seen some indication that trading was halted. I don't know if that's true or not, because if it was done after hours. I can show you charts for people who are interested in charts about it. You want to be cautious. Nobody has cash. I'll show you that. I'll show you a few things today. We'll see how long it lasts. I don't have as many tabs as usual, but I did want to report on the big news. The big news is the collapse of the monetary world order, which was brought about faster for those who wanted Donald Trump to destroy everything. Like, a lot of people actually voted for Trump for that. And I actually maybe that's what I did too. Trump was supposed to end the world order and bring about something new. What do they call those people? Accelerationists. Accelerationists just want it to end or want to bring the whole system down. Donald Trump may have actually succeeded in doing that, quite possibly. And it kind of culminated with his speech at Davos this week, where he insulted Europe, insulted the world, and now people have come to realize what they could have realized a long time ago, which was that we're that we're not worth dealing with, that our money isn't worth dealing with, our money isn't worth holding on to. We've tried really, really hard, and we've done a really good job of convincing people that holding on to our money is a really good idea. They can always use dollars for things. But now people are starting to think about it, and they're like, what good are these dollars when they can be printed out of thin air? And they fund Americans' extravagant lifestyles while we suffer at the hands of us basically, and when we don't even like them. So that's what we have going on right now. So I've been talking about it. Like I said, I've been talking about financial collapse for a long time. We may be going into hyperinflation. There are many ways, there are many different kinds of fiscal emergencies. There are many different ways it can go. We can have hyperinflation, like the Weimar Republic in Germany, or we could have deflationary death spiral also. But if there is a deflationary death spiral, actually the response will be to devalue the dollar even further, most likely. So I find it incredibly unlikely that buying silver or gold today and holding on to it for a few years is a bad idea. They could crash if there is a debt crisis, which is now on the table for once. There's an actual debt crisis on the table. So we could actually have a sovereign debt crisis, which is the craziest thing ever. That means like nobody wants to buy our paper anymore. And the question is what they choose to buy instead. And it looks like the choice is being made, and it's gold and silver. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, it's not Bitcoin right now. So we have to wonder about what's going to happen with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. There's a big bill about to pass. Donald Trump is the cryptocurrency president, and cryptocurrency has done terribly while he was president, while everything else that's not dollars went up in value, at least compared to dollars. It priced in dollars. Everything priced in dollars went up, has gone up since Trump went into office. Real estate, though, actually, no. Real estate, no. Real estate's flat for the last year. So that was the first cracks that began to show as real estate looks like it's going to go down in value. And now the stock exchange, the whole economy is based on the stock exchange being high. With the stock exchange high, people think they have lots of money and they spend a lot of money, what called the wealth effect. So what happens when boomers, house prices go down and their 401ks, or if they've cashed out of their 401ks, their stocks go down? What happens then? What happens to jobs? What happens to everything else? And we have AI on top of that. OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, look like they're going to go out of business. What does that do to NVIDIA? It's just crazy. It's a crazy time to be alive. So I'm here for you just to give you the latest updates. I had to come on today because of the psychological barriers, the $100 silver and the $5,000 gold. And I bought more gold today. I don't know whether having cash is worth it, because even if it corrects a little bit, it looks like we're going back to a different money system, actually. I mean, at least it kind of appears that way. It looks like people are giving up on fiat currency. So anyway, Jewel says, I'm not ruling out the US dollar. It's still trading higher than it was this time in 25 compared to other worthless fiat currencies. Let's see. Let's look at some charts while we're getting started. Or let's play our intro, then we'll look at charts. We'll do the usual thing. Intro, grift, charts, etc. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news.
The entire Earth is $315 trillion in debt.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Who do they owe money to?
Bro, who are they getting money from?
It blows my mind that first off, you have everything on the planet here to live for free.
You literally have everything you need.
And then you invent a system
Uh-huh.
that creates a deterioration of your own resources.
You created a store of value that's literally storing less and less value every day. Every day.
And you're increasing your technology, and yet somehow you still owe money to someone, and it's $315 trillion. There's not enough paper to print that much cash. What are they doing?
Okay, I have a few videos to start out the show today. We have a storm coming.
So if you live in this blue area here, you're going to need an electric blanket and a sack of weed. If you live in this pink area here, you're dead.
Okay, that's the storm. It's going to be really bad. So we might have a war with Iran, a deadly snowstorm. Okay, one more video.
Are you sad?
No, it's just I've been doing stuff for a lot of times and I want to chill sometimes. But there's no time to chill.
Are you sad?
There's no time to chill. There is no time to chill. Take everything, buy silver, probably. That's probably what you should do. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Go there. You can leave virtual coffees. They're $5 each. You can use different forms of payment, and then you can leave a note, and I will read them at the end of the show. We require coffee to function, actually, at this show. So go ahead and do that, and it will be much appreciated on this end. And sometimes it goes toward donuts or cookies, actually, also with the coffee. I don't know if that's good for extending life. I know sugar is bad, but it goes well with coffee that I don't use sugar in. So coffee with milk and some kind of treat. That's what we eat and drink. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can also buy t-shirts still at Truth Revolution Clothing. That's truthclothing.io. Right here. Check out our designs. We ship those out. These are in stock. These are really high quality t-shirts and other forms of shirts that you can buy for not just discounted prices, but liquidation, going out of business sale type prices, $5 and $10 shirts. Check them out on our website. We have our Question Everything design, which is super popular. Buy your Bitcoin shirts, your crypto shirts while you still can. They're $5 and $10. And they're great to sleep in, wear around the house, super comfortable, fit great, wash well, last a long time. They're screen printed here in America. It's not bullshit digital printing. Go to truthclothing.io, buy them before we sell out, and buy them in bulk in your size while we still have them. Truthclothing.io. Okay, let's take a look at the chat and see what people are. I think a lot of people have silver because I talked about it for a long time. I think a lot of people have silver. I bought some more today, but virtually. You can buy SLV or PSLV stocks on Robinhood. Then you can buy and sell them for the same price. You can call your local coin dealer and buy silver. You want to buy American money mostly, if you can, most likely. American Eagles are the best. You pay a premium on them, but that's what people like. If you want an American Eagle right now, you probably have to pay a lot of money for it. They're probably selling out. We'll go to the website that sells them. In China, they're going crazy. Gold is at $49.97 right now. Silver was up $7. It's almost $104 right now for silver. If you want to buy physical silver from a big online retailer, well, if you wanted to buy gold, you're paying $5,200 for American 22 karat gold coins, $5,200 an ounce. And they have them in stock, some of them. So they have some in stock. They're not totally sold out. If you want to buy silver, you want to buy uncirculated silver eagles. which will cost you at least $115 right now, at least $115 and probably more than that. So that's what it's actually selling for right now. And in China, they're paying even more than that. People are going insane to get rid of their fiat for something physical. Other things are going up too. You could buy nickels. If you want a really good deal, if you want to buy metal at half price, buy nickels. Go to your bank and ask for like a box of nickels. Michael Patrick Porkin said, I bought a bunch of silver coins the first time I watched The Money Masters by Bill Stills. I don't even know what that is. That's good. Why buy PSLV or SLV? Buy physical? Well, why not? I mean, it still goes up. So far, it hasn't broken yet. And also, why? Because you can buy and sell it for the same price. That's one advantage. I also own synthetic gold instead of real gold. But most people, rich people who have gold, pay somebody to store it for them. So they're still not holding on to the physical thing. But it's similar to holding the real thing, and you don't have to pay the VIG, is why it's advantageous. Why it's not is you can't hold the real thing. And in, I don't know, apocalypse, then maybe it's not going to be worth it. But assuming that apocalypse doesn't happen, then digital forms of metal are decent. I would prefer to buy it as a cryptocurrency, like I buy gold. But silver, you can buy SLV or PSLV. It's just you can buy and sell it for the same price instead of having to buy it for more and sell it for less. That's all. You do have to trust somebody. But the coin store situation, I've just dealt with it. The coin store situation is a hassle too. You have to count on them wanting to buy it for what it's worth. And you just have to rely that they're not going to rip you off depending on the time it is that you want to sell. If you want to sell when other people want to sell, then they'll buy it for less. Where if you're buying the other stuff, but so anyway, that's what silver's going for right now in real money. If you want to buy it from a coin, you should buy it from, buying physical is good. Buying physical is good, but I had an experience with physical where when I sold it, I didn't really get what it was worth. That's all. I was really upset about it. And I called around and I didn't get what it was worth. I bought it when silver was around $20 and sold it when silver was around $36. And I didn't get any more than what I paid for it, unfortunately. So that's the thing about physical, where if I had bought SLV instead, I would have gotten whatever SLV was doing. The Real Alone says, how's my cat doing? He's dead. He has been for a number of years. So you should have been following the show more closely. It's been a long time, actually, since Doshi was here, unfortunately. So RIP Doshi, we miss him. He is still here with us in spirit. So did you want, somebody said the dollar is not doing that bad. Let's look at charts. Here's Bitcoin, which is very disappointing. Bitcoin is very disappointing. I started selling it last year and I started buying gold instead. It is just doing absolutely nothing. It's at 89.5. This is literally what it was designed for. Bitcoin. It was actually literally designed for times like this. Going to war with Iran, the dollar going down, the end of fiat currencies. And it's literally done nothing for the last year. Even though we have a crypto president, even though you can buy crypto on stock exchange, even though institutions are involved now, even though some countries have them, even though states are making it legal, nobody wants it. Compared to gold, it's even worse. Compared to silver, it's no higher than it was in 2017. It hasn't gone up at all compared to silver since 2017. I used to have 100-ounce silver bars. They were $2,000. Now they'd be worth over $10,000. Had a few of those I traded for Bitcoin when Bitcoin was like 60,000 or something. Lots of regrets, lots of bad mistakes, but overall, so far so good. At least the Bitcoin I had went up a lot while I had it. So that's good. Nuckfugget says Bitcoin is doing just fine. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. I wouldn't call it fine. Not when it's supposed to be gold. It's supposed to be like gold. And gold has gone up a lot. It's supposed to be like silver. It's supposed to absorb the death of fiat currencies. I know you have a lot of ETH. People are saying it's going to snap back. But if the stock market crashes, which it probably will, then Bitcoin's going to crash. That's what it does for some, you know what I mean? And maybe gold won't. That's the problem. That's the problem I have with it. I really like it. I might want to buy some again after it crashes, but I don't think people like it as much. And now they're going to tokenize everything. So people are just going to buy tokenized real estate and tokenized gold, most likely. But that's that. We'll look at the dollar. Let's see, markets, currencies. In Japan, they intervened in the market today, which means they're probably selling dollars to buy Japanese yen. The dollar against the yen was down almost 2% today. It was down 1.7% against the yen today. I'll show you that. So this is the chart for today with Japanese yen. The Japanese are going to blow up the world, probably. That's where the crisis is kind of taking place. They're intervening in their bond market, and now they're intervening in their currency market at the same time. So that's what happened to that. That most likely Japan is selling treasuries. I have other news about that too. Let's see the US dollar versus everything, currency rates. Let's see, is there the dollar? No, it doesn't show. It was down against the euro, down against the pound, had one of the worst weeks ever. Euro was up 0.7% against the dollar. The pound was up 1% versus the dollar. Sell dollars and buy other things now, it looks like. And it's mostly being reflected in the price of precious metals. So that's where we're at. When they say down as of when, as of from when, well, let's see if I can see a chart. Unfortunately, this doesn't, I just want the dollar index, which is what, DXY? No. US dollar index futures. Okay, here it is. It's down 0.8% today. We'll look at a long-term chart. Here's a year chart. So you're right that it isn't further down than it was back in September. It is pretty low though. This is a weekly chart, which goes all the way back to January of 2024. And it's about the lowest it's ever been. You can see that it's diving fast in the last week. This is one of the worst weeks ever. Donald Trump has succeeded in making people not like dollars, which is going to make our treasury yields go up, which will make mortgage rates go up, which will crash the economy probably. So you said when they say down as of when, from when. So down as of last week, certainly, and down as of last year and years before that. I can go with like a longer chart. Let's see, I can do a monthly chart. There, on a monthly chart, it's not that bad. It's because other fiat currencies are bullshit too. But this is a transition from all fiat currencies. Let's play a video. Ray Dalio has been talking about it for a long time.
In your mind, is this the beginning of the end for the prescience of the US dollar?
It's the beginning of the end of the monetary system as we know it. It's not just the US dollar, it's the fiat monetary currencies. So the UK, the euro, Japan, China all have similar debt problems and so on, and are dealing with the same interrelationships, which is the reason you're seeing gold being chosen by the central banks. They want a currency. Gold has always been the main currency, and it's the only non-fiat currency, in other words, not the currency that can't be printed, that they want. And so that's why you're seeing central banks move and sovereign wealth funds move to gold. And that's the nature of the shift of the monetary system.
There you go. That's it. I mean, that's it. It's very simple. Fiat currencies are bullshit. So if you you're asking down as of when? Well, if you a lot of people measure the dollar based on the price of gold, they measure it against gold. So it's at the lowest it's ever been in the history of everything against gold, which is money also, or silver. It's the lowest it's ever been ever. The US dollar against the stock market, it's the lowest it's ever been. Against credit, it's the lowest it's ever been. The dollar is becoming worthless, as will all fiat currencies. So it's actually all of them. It's not just us that suck. We all have too much debt. Japan has more than anybody. That'll be the first place to have a crisis. So let's see what I have. India is selling treasuries to buy gold, is reported by the Hindustan Times. At Davos, Mark Carney said it's the end of the current world order. He called it a rupture. So this was an important thing that was said at Davos this week.
We knew the story of the international rules-based order was partially false, that the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient, that trade rules were enforced asymmetrically. And we knew that international law applied with varying rigor depending on the identity of the accused or the victim. This fiction was useful. And American hegemony in particular helped provide public goods, open sea lanes, a stable financial system, collective security, and support for frameworks for resolving disputes. So we placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals. And we largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination.
There you go. That's what he said. It's true. He gave a good speech. Trump gave a rambling nonsense speech where he insulted everybody, and then people started taking it to heart. We're still tweeting about Greenland. And actually, as far as gold goes, Trump chickened out. So actually, and didn't do the tariffs, and we're not having a tariff war with Europe, and gold still went up, which is crazy. And silver still went up. They should have cooled down after the taco. The stock market went up, which is what it would do after a taco. Gold went down, silver went down temporarily, but they went right back up. So he's talking about the end of the integrated world order, and it's all integrated with dollars. You know, everybody holds dollars. They're all integrated together, and everybody funds us, and everybody buys our debt. Well, they're just stopping. That's all. This is a black pill show. Larry Fink ended the WEF thing. Elon Musk was asked. He says that everybody's going to have everything they need in the future from AI and robots, which might be true, but then people won't have to work, which could be problematic, which he admitted, but he said he doesn't want to think about it. He said he'd rather be optimistic. This is what Larry Fink is quoting Elon Musk, who is quoting Mark Twain.
And lastly, I just want to, because I thought it was so profound, I want to end this forum with a quote that Elon Musk said in closing yesterday's session, that it's better to be an optimist and wrong than be a pessimist who's right. So on that note, Enjoy. See ya.
Good to be optimistic rather than pessimistic. Well, I think the stock market's going to crash. This is margin debt in the stock market. Could happen Monday if we go to war with Iran. We'll see. It could happen any time now. This is margin debt in the stock market, which is what caused the crash in 1929. Highest of all time. That's margin debt. That's people borrowing money to buy stocks. Borrowing money to buy stocks. Stocks are at an all-time high, which is always what happens before they crash. Stocks are at an all-time high. They could keep going higher. We'll see. They might because of AI, etc. But this is that's margin debt. This is how much cash people have, which is usually a sign that something that there's going to be a correction in the market. It's the lowest reading of all time that people have cash. You need cash to buy more stocks. So people have spent all their cash buying stocks, basically. This is for money managers. It's down to the lowest it's ever been. As you can see on the chart, and it mostly dropped off a cliff. People are throwing their money into the stock market. Everybody believes the dollar is going down. Everybody believes that holding cash is bad. Everybody sees it. So they've been buying stocks. Some people, smart people, have been buying gold and silver, which have gone up even more than stock market as a whole. Though some individual stocks have gone up a lot, like the ones that make memory right now, in particular, like SanDisk. But that's temporary. But cash is lowest it's ever been. People are going to need cash, and they're going to sell everything, literally everything, including gold and silver. When it happens, they'll sell everything. The government is putting out notices about what a fiscal crisis looks like. This was published on the 22nd, which is yesterday, from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. So it talks about all the different kinds of crises we can have. So you can have a financial crisis, reduced confidence in U.S. Treasury markets, could lead to a spike in interest rates, panic among traders, devaluation of assets, freezing or slowing of credit, and failure of key financial institutions. This is likely. Reduced confidence in U.S. Treasury markets. That's what we're seeing right now. We can have an inflation crisis, attempts or fear of attempts to manage debt levels through monetization, artificially low interest rates, or financial repression could result in high and potentially spiraling inflation. Well, this is what Donald Trump wants to happen. Artificially low interest rates, which we're currently living in artificially low interest rates. They're lower than they have been historically. So we could have an inflation crisis, a financial crisis. They could do an inflation crisis to avoid the financial crisis. We could have an austerity crisis, which would be from sharp tax increases and spending cuts enacted to stave off a fiscal crisis. Could create undue hardship, undermine demand, and push the economy into recession. That's the one that can cause deflation. We can have a currency crisis. It's good they published all this. We have a currency crisis. The U.S. dollar could face sudden and significant depreciation in response to fiscal stress and policy responses, resulting in destabilization of markets and the economy. That one we could have. These are all possible. We have a default crisis. Policymakers could explicitly or implicitly default on debt, including by failing to make debt payments or by restructuring existing debt. Or we can have a gradual crisis, which is what we have been having. We've been in a gradual crisis. Living standards and fiscal and monetary flexibility could gradually erode in response to rising debt, potentially causing as much or more long-term damage than an acute crisis. That's the one we've been in, a gradual crisis. Because we've kept our interest rates artificially low and the standard of living for the bottom 80% has gone down, while the top 20% who have the assets are still doing well and are responsible for most of the so-called growth in our economy. almost all of the purchasing, which is what our economy is based on, is consumption rather than production, is being done by people who have all the assets. But when their assets go down, which it looks like they will now it's looking like sooner rather than later, then they will stop spending, and then we can have all the crises all at the same time, all the crises all at the same time, quite possibly. So it's interesting that they printed that yesterday, what a fiscal crisis would look like. Trump said that if Trump wants to keep stocks high and keep real estate high, one of the proposals for keeping real estate high was to be able to cash out your 401k for a down payment. Well, Trump realizes now that if people dump their 401ks, then stocks could go down. So he's not in favor of that either. So we have a president who it feels the way he feels because stocks are the highest ever. He feels like it's great. It reflects well on him. Real estate is still about the highest ever. Still, it hasn't really come down yet. He doesn't want either one of those things to come down, but he wants things to become more affordable. Well, things can't become more affordable. Prices can't come down. Prices don't ever go down. Prices only come down if we have deflation, which the Federal Reserve is designed to not allow. And Trump, certainly promoting 0% interest, wants inflation. But it doesn't matter what the Fed does at this time. They can cut interest rates to zero, but that won't change long-term interest rates. We've written our death warrant, basically. We're still tweeting about Greenland, even though we're not getting any of it. This is one of the memes out. It says, embrace the penguin. So there's a Greenland flag far away and a penguin with Trump walking through the ice and snow with an American flag. So that we're still tweeting about Greenland, even though we already we aren't going to get any of Greenland. It looks like we're maybe going to war with Iran. That's news tonight. So that could be happening now. And if that happens, then gold will go even higher and stocks will probably crash. Like they did during the war that happened last year. And cryptocurrency went down at that time too. But Royal Dutch Airlines has canceled all its flights to Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Air France has canceled a couple flights to Dubai, and British Airways has canceled its evening flight to Dubai. And if you look at that image, the airspace above Iran is completely empty. So there's a rumor that we're going to strike Iran. A counter rumor is that we don't have our assets in place yet, the ones that we've been moving there to make sure we could strike Iran. But it could happen this weekend. He likes to do things when the stock market is closed. So stock market is now closed for the weekend. We could strike Iran at any time. What's happening? Let's see. What's happening in other news? In other news, we suck a little bit when it comes to making things, and China is awesome a little bit when it comes to making things. China is making the best cars in the world right now for the cheapest. The thing about electric cars is we don't like them that much. They're not that great, but I think they're cheaper to make. Elon Musk has not been focused on cars, and his car sales are in the toilet. Elon Musk, who is some kind of a genius as far as predicting the future and making companies that are important for the future, he is not focusing on making cars. If he wanted to, he could make electric cars much cheaper. They just have a lot fewer moving parts. Internal combustion engines are extremely complicated. We like them better, or we like to have the option. We like to have the range. We like being able to fill up quickly and not wait a long time to charge. It's inconvenient to have an electric car. You have to have a house with a garage with a charger. Yeah, or you have to be willing to wait 30 minutes while your car charges up. But they're cheaper to make, And China is really good at it. And they make the cheapest, best cars in the world right now, which are mostly electric. This is the Ford guy talking about it. China is kind of eating our lunch as far as making things. And they probably are going to have AI that's pretty good. And it's all open source, so anybody can use it. So people might start using Chinese AI. It's hard to say. We're ahead right now. We have good companies that make closed AI. But China could win that too. China might be the new world power because actually now that people don't want to deal with us, Canada is letting China in and Europe is letting China in rather than dealing with us because we're annoying to deal with. Here's the Ford guy talking about Chinese cars.
How many trips to China have you made in the past year?
Oh, I would say 6 to 7.
6 to 7?
Yes.
And what are you seeing there that we should learn from?
It's the most humbling thing I've ever seen. 70% of all EVs in the world, electric vehicles, are made in China. They have far superior in-vehicle technology. Huawei and Xiaomi are in every car. They have facial recognition.
Cell phone technology.
Yes.
Connected to their cell phones.
Yes. You get in, you don't have to pair your phone. Automatically, your whole digital life is mirrored in the car. You have an AI companion that you can talk to chat GPT equivalent in China to your, all the automatic payment is already there. You can buy movie tickets. It has facial recognition, so it knows who's in which seat and which media you like.
Wait, why don't Ford cars have that? Would you need to deal with Apple or?
Yeah, because Google and Apple decided not to go in the car business. And even beyond that, their cost, their quality of their vehicles is far superior to what I see in the West. I mean, we are in a global competition with China, and it's not just EVs. And if we lose this, we do not have a future, Ford.
Well, you did talk about EVs and how much they're doing there. To some extent, it seems that.
So that's what's happening with cars and China. They also have robot factories where they don't even turn on the lights. They don't need workers for them. So they're replacing their humans. They're having a population crisis, the same as us, but they're replacing their human workers with robots much faster than us. They make lots of robots. Elon Musk is going to make a robot. It's going to come out this year. It'll be a good robot. He thinks it's going to be the robot that runs the entire world, but it's possible there will be lots of different robots from lots of different companies. China is going to make some of them. We could be driving around cheap Chinese cars that are better than our cars, but we just refuse to. But Canada is starting to import them, and other places are going to start importing them too, because it's good to be able to have good quality products for less money. That's a good thing. It puts more money in your pocket. So that's why we exported our production to China and everything else. But we're just not allowing those cars come in. If we did, you could buy like a $15,000 Chinese electric car that's better than anything any other company makes. Apparently, that's what people are saying. So we'll see what happens. But all right, so that's the news on that. China, world stuff, dollars crashing, gold is the moon. Here's some stuff that's going on with ICE that's being reported on today. Here's just a video of ICE talking to someone who's legally observing them.
It's not illegal to record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy? It's not illegal to
that's what they're
record.
doing. So you get added to a database. That's fun, right? For recording ICE. They add you to a database and consider you a domestic terrorist. So that's what's going on. We have a little bit of a police thing going on in this country right now too. People hate Trump and people don't like JD Vance that much either. So, and the Democrats are going to win the election coming up, and they might win in 2028 too. And there's more news. There's more news about Kash Patel being a retard. We're run by lunatics and retards. Doesn't matter who you vote for. They're all idiots. Kash Patel is being exposed as some kind of super idiot. There's lots of news about that. There's lots of just black pills for you guys. I'd love to support what our government is doing, but our government is fucked. That's why people are buying gold. That's why people are buying silver. I suggest you probably should do the same, probably. You don't have to do it all at once. It might go down at some point, but it'll probably keep going back up. The United States empire is over. Democrats will ruin it. Republicans don't care. They passed a huge spending bill, $1.2 trillion, funding. It still funds sex change operations for kids. Still funds abortions. What else is going on? Oh, kill switches in cars. We passed that too. The government can shut down your car starting next year. Do people not forget how horrible the Democrats are? They have forgotten, yes. That's what happens. We just switch sides every once in a while. But yeah, they forget. That's what happens. You win an election, you're terrible. People think the other side might be better, so they vote for the other side. So yeah, people have forgotten, actually, especially independents, especially swing voters, and young people especially. That's what happens when you suck, as they just assume that something else is better. So yeah, people forgot. I'm not going to vote for him, but so that's where we're headed. We're headed for a Democrat victory in 2026. If things don't change, probably a Democrat victory in 2028, unless somebody comes up that says they're going to do something positive, but nobody wants to fix anything. People just want to keep the same system forever. People are old. They're stuck in their ways. The people who have all the money are old. The people who have all the money control everything. So until that changes, then nothing's going to get better. So we probably just need a depression, probably. Jewel says, I'm getting out of gold and silver and buying wine and spirits. Well, wine and spirits are cheap because nobody drinks anymore. Cocaine, that might go up in value. People might decide they like that. But apparently that's going down, in price too. Nobody drinks anymore. I guess they do weed a little bit instead. Gummies. That's what I heard. But that'll get cheaper too. Alcohol should get cheaper because nobody's buying it. I guess. Kids don't like it. It might have something to do with phones. I don't know. But kids don't like alcohol. It's probably why the murder rate is down, to be honest. People aren't really putting two and two together on that. But crime is way down in Democrat cities, unless they're just lying completely about the numbers, which who knows. But crime is apparently down everywhere. It could be because people don't drink anymore. All right, those are my black pills for today. I suggest. No, you decide what you do. I can't give you financial advice. But here we go. I agree with Dahlia. The end of fiat currencies, as we know them, is happening slowly. So you can still buy gold, silver, and they'll probably keep going up compared to all the bullshit fiat currencies, especially the American one, because people don't like America. So that's where we're at. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Good to see you. Let's see if anybody gave me any coffees. We give you bad news. Let's refresh this page. Let's see if anybody gave coffees. Nope, no coffees today, no coffees yesterday. If you want to support my show, you can do it anytime, even over the weekend, even when I'm not live, even in the middle of the night when you're listening to the podcast. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and leave tips there. I have no super chats enabled here. You can also use Cash App by going to $LTV411. That's this one, $LTV411. I also have Zelle. So there are lots of different ways to support the show. And if you need any advice on buying crypto, which you should be able to ask Gemini about, but if you need consultations, I still would do those if anybody's interested in consultations for how to buy crypto, gold, or what have you off the books. You can text me at 650-GAY-TAXI. Anybody can always text me at that number. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you guys. Keep it real. We might see you tomorrow. I might see you tomorrow because there's no football on. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Good to see you. And I'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.